Okay, folks. I have a little bit longer lightning talk. So this talk, which I'll have, I will expect some discussion afterwards on that. Let's start. I don't know if you have heard that on chain we do have FX rates for the different currencies. It's typically provided by oracles. Is here anyone who doesn't know what an oracle is? Please raise a hand.
Oracle?
Yeah.
A company?
Not company.
Not Oracle. The thing.
Not that one.
It's something, some entity which is providing data to the blockchain.
Yeah, you got it. It's really from what we understood, the oracles are that they are like forecasting the information, trying to give you the information basically towards the public. So we do have those oracles. One of the most known, I would say, ones is the Chainlink oracle, which provides different kinds of data. Typically, we would think about the tokens or the currencies. They provide the forex, and also they provide the cryptocurrencies, their value, how it changes. They collect it and then they provide it there. For quite some time already, for several months, I've been in discussion with the Chainlink on actually setting up the Czech krone FX rate on chain for us, for the developers, to be able to consume it and to use it in the projects. And I've been also discussing with them already that it could be working for as many chains as possible. So not only for the Ethereum, but also for the other ones, which are more legit or more mature, I would say. This is the slide which I presented on the East Prague, on the quadratic funding. So the fact is that we would present we would like to bring the CZK/USD rate onto the chain. So something similar the Chainlink has for the other currencies. They already have it for Euro, they have it for the British pound, they have it for the Polish zloty, they have it for the Swedish krona, and for I don't know how many, 20 or something like that, forex currencies. Why do they use the USD? The reason is that the USD is most commonly used currency, like fiat currency, when referring to the cryptocurrencies. So the USD in fact acts as some sort of the proxy, again the proxies, but this time like monetary proxy or pricing proxy for the forex towards the crypto. We'll talk about it a little bit later. There is some budget related and so on. So I presented there, and here it's about the current status. In fact, once it is implemented, it will look like this, that we will have here CZK/USD. There will be about 6 oracles providing that information from different sources. That's some topic which we are still discussing, what will be the sources. And these oracles, the information from there, that will be aggregated and somehow averaged and so on. They have the whole process on that. And as a result, we will have like one price going out of this contract. So the contracts, literally on the blockchain, they will be able to use this. There are some aspects on how often it is being updated. There are two let's say triggers. One is this deviation threshold. So the fact is that the Chainlink is like monitoring off-chain that rate, and if that moves more than 0.3% higher or lower, then it triggers the update towards and trying to get the data and update it on chain. The second parameter for the update is heartbeat, and typically for these forex currencies it's 24 hours. So the USD towards the crypto, it's like updated very often, and then the forex towards the or CZK towards the USD, by default it would be like 20 every day, but if it deviates more than 0.3% or something, it will update. Yeah, so that's the way of how it will work. Besides what the Polish zloty has, we will have it on more target chains. That was the request. And now towards the code, because we are here on the coding session. In Solidity, it should be easy as this. So you will just import some Chainlink contracts here, and we will need to know that address for the aggregator. This is something that's to be done by Chainlink, but then we will just say, okay, here's the price feed, and let's have the price from the price feed. So it will be as easy as that, and then we will be able to work with that within the contracts. If we will want to get something else than CZK/USD, we'll just have to consume 2 price feeds and then manually work with that within our contract. So here's the example that we can consume CZK/USD. Secondly, we will consume ETH/USD, and all of that, just by the calculation, we will be able to get to CZK/ETH or anything else, what is there provided. Then the next topic is the historical data. That's also quite important. Here are those triggers which I mentioned. The problem with the historical data is that there are no time ticks. We are often used to the fact that when you look on the charts, you think about in months, weeks, days, hours, minutes. That's quite typical, especially for the traders. Here on the contract level or on this Oracle level, there are no time ticks. You don't have like 1 minute and then plus 4 minutes, plus 4 minutes. No, because only when it is triggered, you have a new information on the chain. So you need to work out somehow and translate your request on the specific time and transpose it into what or where you want to ask for. So this is complicated, but this is due to the fact how it is designed, and not to blow the blockchain by the data of every second. So that was for the EVM. There are also Chainlink already provides documentation for Solana. Basically, it should be also quite easy that you have a structure which you get from some contract, and in the result, the answer actually means the price. So that supposedly it should be easy. I'm not a Solana programmer, so I do not know exactly. If there is anyone here, I would welcome hear some discussion on that. Cardano and Polkadot was also mentioned that it should be supported by the Chainlink, not immediately, but they mentioned like end of this year or something. It's interesting, there are no documentations for that. Yet the Polkadot, there were several statements on the integration using a substrate. I found the articles in 2020, but I could...
Just announcement of announcements.
Yeah, something like that. Announcements, and you cannot really find a code.
They are not really using Chainlink and Polkadot.
Yeah, let's discuss it later. But in order to provide it, there are some still open issues. One is the Forex statement. If you go to the Chainlink website, they have this mentioned there that it is not advised to use Forex feeds outside of market hours for a specific currency. Basically, what normally or in the Forex training you would understand it, you have like a business hours, then you close, and it could like deviate somehow strangely. Not sure how it is here. I asked Chainlink to actually clarify this, what it means, because normally any contracts are typically stable coins. They really need to consume these feeds, and they do consume it during the weekends. So this is quite a strange statement. And we do know what happened, right, with Luna and so on.
I would assume it would be like constant during the weekend and then jumped like 20% in Monday and everybody would liquidate it.
Yeah. Second issue, which we have been discussing for quite some time, is those data sources. How reliable are they? What was their credibility and so on. And the key issue here is to understand those data sources for proper handling in booking. In booking, you have different approaches when you have it like from the general market, from the forex markets, and you have a very different approach and calculations when you have it from the Czech National Bank. You have very different approach when you have to apply it for the customs, because the customs also is providing the prices. So we need to know how this is formed, and that's after several sessions with Chainlink. I asked them, look, we will have here like a template statements, and please just choose the one which fits the most, which I expect is this one, that actually that rate is like daily 24/7 market rate from different markets, and also like Bloomberg, Reuters. I used to work in a bank, and I do know that banks are actually taking the price fees from these agencies like the Bloombergs and Reuters. The second option is that it is actually taken from the Czech National Bank, which I believe it is not the case. And the third option, that it is provided from the European Central Bank, which I also believe is not the case. But we need to have the statement from the Chainlink on this in order to provide it to the accountants and the other people who would work with that. The other issue to have this actually for the Czech koruna is the legal entity. While the Chainlink requires the contract, and I don't mean the programmable contract, but the regular contract to be signed with the legal entity. So they are saying, okay, we will assure it, but there has to be a counterparty who is like requesting this. And currently there is no legal entity established for this. In fact, it's a low-cost relationship, but it is there. So I'm looking for the options how to solve this. The other issue is the budget. I believe that we need to have like a runway budget for 2 years in order for the projects to really like jump on and start using it and actually prove that it makes sense to have this. The Chainlink is asking about 350 USD per month to cover the gas costs to actually bring it, towards the chain. And thanks to the East Prague quadratic funding, we have ensured some budget, in fact, for almost like 1 year. It was a great experience from that. And potentially we have been discussing within the people who are in Bohemian DAO that there will be also provided some partial budget to actually start this. And currently a little bit less than 6,000 USD is yet to be insured to have it at least running for those months. So if you would know about the sources on how to at least budget it, I have the idea that we would create some page which would say, look, here is the way how to work with that, and here are the sponsors who are actually sponsoring these years. And the open question here towards you is whether you would know or you would think about any projects that could utilize or use this feed, and that's all. Yeah, the questions, yeah.
The question, I know a project, it's called Jarvis Network, and they create synthetics of fiat currencies, and they have the Czech koruna, and I thought they were using something like this, because they say they use Oracle from Chainlink, but
you were saying that the Jarvis network is already using the Oracle for Chainlink and having the Czech koruna.
Yes, and I was wondering, because you explained this, and I was thinking, what they are using, you know.
Yeah, that's confusing, because if you look into the data of the Chainlink, it's the Czech koruna is not mentioned anywhere.
Okay.
But let's cross-check it. That's a good point. You know, if it already exists, then it's good. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Ah, come on. Would you use that? Who would use the Czech koruna in the project? Yeah, only one.
It's kind of hard to find real life usage of this, especially if that's a Czech.
So what?
It's really hard to find any usage of this. I'm just thinking myself, like, who would really want that, and I'm struggling to give an answer.
I can imagine wallets, for instance.
Why I would use Czech crown to use the rates that lives inside the blockchain? I mean, I can. It's really hard to understand why it has to be on blockchain.
Okay, there are a few more questions, then I will come back to that.
You said before that we haven't raised many ICOs.
Say a bit, can you speak up?
There's not been many ICOs or IDOs, depending on how they're called now, raising funds for new projects. But if we want to raise funds for a new project, maybe through direct blockchain utilization, we might need to raise it in the Czech koruna instead of other types of currencies, and we will need this fee perhaps for new projects onboarding, like on blockchain, like the contribution of every participant. Maybe. Because I think exchanges, for example, wouldn't need it. They already have the partnership with all the other players. Because I was thinking also of exchanges, but yeah, maybe Czech exchange would use it.
I think like no-brainer like use case is like Czech stablecoin. Like, that would definitely need it, because you don't have any reliable source of, like, for example, Czech crown versus Ether. So you need to do that like, double oracle usage, which is not really nice. But I don't think we have enough data for Czech Ether market.
Yeah, regarding the stablecoin, that's another project, but that's what we can talk on for quite a long time. But that's right. Yeah, this is prerequisite for the Czech stablecoin. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for stablecoin, yeah, that would make sense. Otherwise, I don't know. The fact that we don't have, that this is not having any time ticks, it's really, I think, problematic, because
It's in general, whatever chaining feed you would be using, you don't have a time ticks.
So
You have to like recalculate towards that.
I don't think it's that a big of issue not having time ticks, because usually you are most interested in like the most recent information. So you know that you have to liquidate somebody or.
So the key benefit, as I understood, is that you can reference this rate directly from the smart contracts, right? Because it's already.
Yeah, that's the advantage of the Oracle.
Yeah.
Sending, storing it on the chain.
Yeah, and
Some outside information.
and we want to like misuse this information in the fact that since it's stored on the chain, that if it has like a statement of some sort of the credibility or reliability, basically, since it's on the chain, it's immutable, even those historical data, and then it's like more valuable for the accountants to actually use that, even if they have like accounting audits.
Yeah, I think it really have only sense to be on chain if some smart contracts are legitimate. I don't think like you just want to Oracle to just send it to this like chain, and chain doesn't use it. Like that's not a good like reason for having.
No, I'm saying that there is like more uses, not only for the contracts but also this one.
Is there a way to use it in connection to taxation programs when we tax crypto? Taxation programs, is it like does it have some usage for that? Because when you tax crypto, especially
To taxation.
yeah, is it somehow compatible?
That's part for the accounting thing, and that is that.
You have to tax finally in crypto in Czech crown. So it's like your project be some.
It really depends on the Czech law. I believe they can just Czech law can say use Czech bank quotes and whatever.
No, the problem is the Czech National Bank is that they do not have a rates for the cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
So you need to find some way of actually related to that. And the current way how the accountants are doing that is that you come to them and you say, I actually bought that on this centralized exchange, and I was sending that, I don't know, for instance, Coinbase, or any coin, and you say, okay, I used the Czech crowns, and you know that's the rate which I used, but that's definitely not a middle rate.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so because normally you're accounting with the middle rates, and so there will be like rate. Okay, this is the rate with which I purchased that. But that's only depending on that one exchange, particular one. The other person will use, I don't know, Kraken or today it's more like Binance, for instance. You know, so there will be like two parties will have like different, will be claiming with different sources. If we have it like brought on the chain, then this can become more reliable for those accounting situations and definitely for the taxation.
So you would expand it to like the USD to ETH, and that way you would like say, okay, on this day,
Yeah.
middle value of this token, so that's my taxation, not whatever like Binance charge.
I don't know, but then you need to pay more taxes if you find some exchange that allows you to buy with lower price than average you're providing. So I don't know. It's challenging. That's all I'm saying.
It will be. It will be. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
I was actually thinking about something similar today. There's this project called oracles.cash, and it's a new thing, launched just this year, and they provide oracles for a couple currencies, I don't know, dollar again, whatever, and gold, silver, I don't know, like 5 oracles. I would love to see also Czech crown there. And why is that? Because then you can make a contract, basically like a hedging contract for your wallet. Then you have a button in your wallet that says lock the value in Czech crowns, and then what you would do is you would enter a smart contract that guarantees that the maturity of the contract, the value of your holdings in the wallet are the same in respect to the Czech crowns. So if the value of the Bitcoin would go up, you would get less Bitcoin, but it would still be the same Czech crowns value, and vice versa. If the value of the Bitcoin would crash, you will get more Bitcoins, but the same Czech crowns value. And I think this is an interesting alternative to stablecoins. It's kind of more decentralized, and I think this could boost the adoption a lot, because all of the times the merchants that accept Bitcoins, they say like, okay, now I accept it, tomorrow the price goes down, I don't want to do that, right? So if there was a button, lock the value, I think this could potentially be a huge thing for the adoption by the merchants. So I would definitely want to see some Czech crowns oracles.
The hedging, you can do it also simply by shorting the contract of the price of movement and the functionality.
Right.
The idea for the functionality to implement it, but you can integrate something new.
To use it as an index for futures trading. Basically, when you have in futures trading, you have a motivation for the market to be closer to the real value, so that your Bitcoin costs 40 grand and your futures are also around 40 grand and not 60 because that would be kind of unfair. So Usually exchanges have some sort of index, basically aggregated data from other sources, like BitMEX uses Coinbase, Kraken, and something else, I forget about it. So they are aggregating this quote and providing index and then granting, I believe, either commissions or some, it's generally commissions basically for traders that are going against this index. So this quote on chain can be used for similar purpose. I would think so. If someone needs Czech Promise USD features.
Great, thanks.